It didn't begin with thunder in the heavens, or a voice from beyond. It began with a man, sitting beside a river, writing. But long before Vyasa, before even the Vedas were sung, people looked at thunder and saw intention. They looked at fire and saw a spirit. Faith began not with temples, but with wonder, with whispers to unseen devtas in air, water, earth, fire, and ether. Not gods yet, just the silent forces that made the world survivable. For centuries, those beliefs lived only in sound. Before there were books, there were voices, carrying the hymns of the Rig Veda, generation to generation, breath to breath, preserving memory before ink ever touched a page. Then came Vyasa. He wasn't a god, nor did he claim to be. He was a traveler, across the vast land of Bharatkanda, listening. To farmers who spoke of seasons, to warriors who spoke of duty, to mothers who spoke of love and loss. Vyasa lived in an age when ritual ruled, when meaning was measured in offerings and chants. But he turned worship into wisdom. He turned ritual fire into moral fire, questions of dharma and desire. He gathered their words like seeds, and one day, all of it struck him, like lightning. A story appeared, not one he planned to write, but one that demanded to be written. Characters formed, worlds unfolded, and from that spark came the Mahabharata. Vyasa didn't want to command people. He wanted to teach them through stories. He said, people learn better through the heart than through rules. So he wrote of goodness, not gods, of choices, not commandments, so people could see themselves, noble, flawed, brave, lost. He began with one man, Krishna. From that single idea, a universe was born, the first moral cosmos. And from one story came another, and another, until imagination itself became sacred. At first, everyone knew they were stories, lessons told by a wise man to help them live better. Ambient, bardic singing. But as the stories traveled, they changed. Each village added a detail. Each singer added wonder. Swords divided, but stories united, and memory became myth, ambient chanting. Across ancient lands, rulers learned what poets already knew, that a shared story could bind tribes tighter than any army. That's how kingdoms became civilizations, held together by myth as much as by law. A hero became a god. A message became a miracle. People didn't believe out of ignorance, they believed because they needed to. In a world of floods and famine, the idea of divine justice brought peace. In chaos, stories of Dharma gave direction. When all else was lost, belief gave them something that never died. That's how religion was born. Not from deception, but from love. Love for meaning. Every culture did the same. From cave paintings to constellations, the flood became a warning. In Egypt, the Nile's rhythm became rebirth. In Bharat, the fire altar mirrored the cosmos. In Greece, poets turned storms into Olympian gods. In the north, they told of Odin and the world tree. In China, sages spoke of balance between heaven and earth. Everywhere, the story came first. The god arrived later. It's older than writing itself. A whisper becomes a song becomes scripture. And one day, a whole civilization kneels before a story that once began as imagination. That doesn't make it false. It makes it human. Religion isn't a mistake of history. It's our greatest artwork, proof that imagination can turn poetry into purpose. Even now we still do it. Our modern gods wear capes and fly across screens. We don't worship them, but they still teach us courage, justice, sacrifice. The same virtues Vyasa wrote about thousands of years ago. Even science tells stories, not in verses but in equations, trying to explain why things are the way they are. Different languages, same impulse. The need to make sense of existence through narrative. Vyasa might have known what would come, that someday people would pray to his characters. And perhaps he smiled, because they finally understood what he hoped they would, that stories keep the world gentle, A story powerful enough to survive centuries becomes belief. A belief that still teaches kindness becomes religion. And religion, at its heart, is a story humanity has loved too much to let go. So no, I don't think gods descended from the sky. I think we raised our imagination high enough that it touched the sky and spoke back to us in the language of myth. We created stories to understand ourselves, and those stories in turn created us. That's how it all began. Not in miracles but in meaning, not in heaven but in the human heart.